Hey everybody, I'm Jordan with Warpfire Minis, and we just got back from LVO. We ended up taking most of our staff down there this year. I was playing in the Sigmar tournament, a bunch of them playing Kill Team, and went and saw a show, ate at some buffets, had great times. If you can ever make it to LVO, definitely go. I highly recommend it. Every year it's the biggest and the best. So I think for the Sigmar tournament this year, we had just shy of 400 people playing. So you're gonna play a lot of games, meet a lot of nice people, and then you're in Vegas too, so you can have some fun while you're at it. But anyways, we're here to do our tournament recap videos. And this year, I'm gonna break it down into separate videos for each match. That way we don't have like a 3-hour long video. So round one, we matched into Blades of Khorne. This was probably my favorite game of the tournament, so here it comes. All right, so round one, we match into Blades of Khorne. And I'll run you through his list real quick just to show you the different threats and what he's got going on. But it was kind of a strange list. He's got lots of the warbands in there and lots of different little units to get a bunch of blood tithe points. So we had Thedra and the God's Horn Hunt. We had Magor's Fiends. We had some Claws of Karanak, 10 Blood Reavers, a big squad of 20 Bloodletters, and then you had a Bloodmaster and another Bloodmaster, followed by, this was Scar. I don't have the Scar model, so this is a Skull Grinder, but that's Scar today. Then he had a Bloodthirster of an Unfettered Fury over here, and then big Scarbrand. And so for damage threats in his list, we have the Unfettered Fury, we have Scarbrand, and then the 20 Bloodletters. Those are going to be really the damage units, the things we need to watch out for. The rest of it, they can move around, they're pretty mobile. With Khorne's tricks, they can still be a problem, but those are the big threats that are going to kill our stuff, so we need to be careful and position correctly for those. All right, and so this is how we ended up deploying, and typically most people are 1 drop or 2 drop, but in this case, both of us were a lot of drops. So we had to go 1 by 1 and deploy the units, and so it turned in kind of a cool little mini game. But this is what's the end result. And the one really cool move that he made at the very end was whenever you deploy Magor's Fiends, so he saved these guys for last, you get to summon in a free Fleshhound. And what that did is, it's got to be wholly within 3 of them, but he gets to deploy it even outside of his deployment zone. And so that instantly puts it where I was going to have a safe magical dominance back here, but now with the Fleshhound who can unbind spells, he's going to be in range of all of my casters. So turn 1 magical dominance, and now it's going to be a risk. Then on my end, he had his spellcasters down, he's got the one Thedra back there. And so I deployed Skreech all the way full up to 13. 13 plus 30 is 43. Her base is a 32 mil, which is over an inch, so there's no way for her to be safe. When she's down, even on the back edge, Skreech is going to be in range to unbind her. So we looked at deployment, and he ended up outdropping me anyways, and decided to give me the first turn. This mission was Power Flex, so he gets to choose which objectives are going to be active, and he activated the 2 side objectives. And his thinking there is he wants to make me push up onto these objectives, get into his ranges where he's going to be able to charge me, then he's going to double turn me and win the game. But we're going to do everything we can do to not let that happen. All right, so then I'm looking at the board, and I have to pick a battle tactic. And unfortunately for me, with Power Flux, the zones go all the way up and all the way across. And so it's very tough to score battle tactics turn 1 for me. I'm not going to be able to charge a hero and charge a battle line. All of the retreat ones are out because we just started. I can't get to 3 board edges very reliably unless I cast a spell. And I can't get people out of my zone. So I'm looking at it, and really my only option is going to be magical dominance, which versus Khorne, now is the time. Once they get blood tithe points, they can just auto unbind your spells. So you really, really want to do that turn 1 before they get any blood tithe points. So that's what we end up choosing. I'm just gonna have to pick 1 cool spell, roll the dice, and hope to get it. And I was kind of expecting him to give me the first turn, just that's what most people do. So I deployed a Greyseer up here. I've got another Greyseer back here ready to jump into this gnaw hole. Because on this mission, if you have a Locust unit on an active objective, you score a bonus point. So I've set myself up to be able to run out, touch those, score bonus points, and we've got a plan you'll see here in a second where we're going to try and get ahead early. So we roll our primal dice. I end up getting 1 or 2, and he does 2. And I roll. We're going for Dreaded Death Frenzy. Of all of my spells, that one is the most impactful if it goes off. I've got a play in mind that I want to do, so if we can get this, it's really going to help. So I roll the dice, and I roll better than him. We get Dreaded Death Frenzy off. With that, I get to roll D3 units to get to fight on death. I roll a 3, which is excellent. So I end up choosing the 2 big rats and the 10 plague sensor bears here. We're all going to fight when they die. Now that I've got the spell off, we're just going to stop casting there. I've scored my battle tactic. I don't want to risk it and fail my battle tactic. So the only other thing I had my plague priest over here in range. So we did a couple prayers to buff up the PCBs, and then we go into movement. So first thing we do is we're going to run these clan rats over here. And I forget what the run roll was, but it was pretty good. And so we just scoot them over this way. Then we run our Grey Seer on here again to score that bonus point. It'll also make it to where if he pushes in to me, I'll be in blizzard range with this guy, which is great. Run the Hell Pit and move him up onto the objective too, just to get some more bodies on. Then same idea on this side. I rolled a pretty good run roll for those over there for the clan rats, and then these guys do the same. I left a few bodies on this objective, just in case like there's a double and I want to switch the objective back to this one later on, just to have some bodies on. Then I moved the PCBs over this way, just kind of getting behind this screen. Again, he's not going to hit me turn 1 over here probably, so just setting up if he does double, maybe these guys will be safe-ish. Get ready to counterpunch. The 2 plague priests run over there by him so they can keep buffing him later on. This Grey Seer we move over by the Gnaw Hole. The Warbringer, I end up just leaving him back this way. We're really far away from him. I've got Death Frenzy on, like if he wants to eat a Bloodthirster down here, that's okay. It's not going to happen until turn 2 with the double, and I'll be able to kill him back. So we just leave him down here. And then I've got to think about what do I actually want to accomplish this turn. So I'm going to score these 2 bonus points. He only has the 1 Locust unit, and she's really far back, so she's not going to score bonus points. So in my mind, I'm trying to score high, and I'm going to just go for the pin here. His guys are all real tight in there, so if I can tie some things up in combat, I'm going to be able to hold him on those objectives and make it tough for him to branch out and get onto these ones. And so that's what we go for. So with that in mind, I end up sending Skreech's full movement, full 12, all the way up this way. Then end of the movement phase, we jump our Grey Seer into the Gnaw Hole. I always set this up within 6 inches of the objective, just for this case where I can pop him out. And then you want to be within 3 inches of your clan rats to get all your -1 and your shrug and your wounds and stuff like that. So boom, boom, 2 bonus points this round. That's great. Then since we're going for the pin, I've got Skreech up here where he's going to be in range to help them do rerolls. We go ahead and deep strike in the PCBs turn 1. All right, so we're deep striking in the drill with the 10 PCBs. And this is a risky play, but again, like, even if I fail, it's going to be tough for him to come over here and take this objective. It's already going to be tough for him to come over here just with the bodies that I've got on the objective. And I'm scoring the bonus points, he's not. So there, it's just worth the risk for me. I go to roll the charges. We always do the drill first. We're just fishing for a good charge roll for our 3 claw steps. We roll it, we fail. We re-roll it, we fail. Things are looking bad. So we go to roll the PCBs, and we fail again. But he was 2,000 points on the nose. I was 1990, so I did get the triumph for re-rolling my charge. So I re-roll the charge on the PCBs, and boom, we make it in. And then I want to make a quick shout out to my opponent. At LVO, the tables, there's just tables and tables next to each other. There's no walking around. So in this instance, like, I'm reaching very far to try and get my guys into charge position, and it's hard to see things exactly. So like, as I'm making this move, he tells me like, well, just make sure like my Blood Master can fight first so you can stay out of 3. And I was like, yeah, that's my intent, to stay out of 3. But just doing the small things like that, being courteous to your opponent, like, he could have not said anything, then like, oh, you're 0.1 inches within 3, my guys are going to fight first, my Bloodletters are going to fight first, and like, we don't even get to play a game. So just a very courteous thing. Like, that was my intent, to stay outside of 3, but him doubling down before I even had to ask was very nice and kind of set the tone for the game that we were going to have a good game. After that, we roll Skreech's charge, and he makes it in as well. And I send him up this way. I'm wanting to tie up this alleyway to the objective. And then also, like, these are some Claws of Karanak. That's a Blood Master. I'm going to try and break his shrine so he can't reroll prayers. And then I'll try and levy some attacks into these guys and kill something. And it'll be a great turn 1. So we make it to the end of the charge phase. I go to break the shrine and I fail. Bummer, but it is what it is. We go to combat, and I have to fight with the PCBs first so they don't all evaporate. Skreech is wholly within 18, so we pop them with the Rat King ability to give him +1/+1. So it's 2s and 2s, 40 attacks. We swing them all into the Bloodletters with a little pile in, and we end up killing 17 of the 20 Bloodletters. All right, his next combat, he fights with his Blood Master into Skreech just before he dies, and he does a couple wounds to Skreech. Skreech then fights back, And I get greedy here, and I split the attacks between the Bloodmaster and the Claws of Khorne. I put most of them into the Bloodmaster because he's -1 to hit and +1 to save while he's in the Shrine. The Claws of Khorne, I figured if I can kill 2 or 4 of them, maybe a couple more flee from Bravery. If 1 or 2 of them still floating around, that just means he didn't get a Blood Tithe point, and I'm okay with it. But I rolled all my attacks, and I didn't kill the Bloodmaster, and I think I killed 1 of the Claws of Khorne. Or 2. Then he fights back into Skreech. This guy was within 3. That's Scar. He's not very scary versus 1 unit. So, again, between everything else, Skreech maybe takes another wound. But we've got these 3 Bloodletters and Magor's Fiends get to attack into the Plague Censer Bearers. And so they pile in. So they throw all their attacks, but the PCBs are -1 to wound. And so they only end up killing 2 of them, which is great for me. Then at the end of the combat phase, the Unfettered Fury Bloodthirster can do D3 mortal wounds. And it ends up doing 2 mortal wounds to the PCBs, and we lose another one. And we go to Battle Shock. I've lost 3 PCBs. I only had the 2 command points because I rerolled my charge and I used Skreech's command, so I've got to roll Bravery. I roll it and I roll a 6. So 6 plus 3 is 9, so I lose another 4 guys to Bravery. And that ends up being the turn. I wish I didn't roll a 6 on Bravery, but that happens sometimes. But I'm going to score 1 plus a bonus point, another 1 plus another bonus point, so 4, plus my battle tactic because I got my spell off. So 6-point turn for turn 1. That's a great start. So we go into bottom of 1, Khorne. His battle tactic is he's going to kill a unit that's by the Shrine. He picks these 3 PCBs who are definitely toast. We go into his hero phase, and he goes to cast a spell with Thedra, and he miscasts. For Khorne, if you miscast, you take D6 mortal wounds. He rolls a 5, and Thedra kills herself on the first cast. And on this mission, you score a bonus point if a wizard is destroyed. But since you score points only in your turn, even though she died, I'm not going to get a bonus point for that because I've already scored in my previous turn. But that's great. Like, I'll take that every day of the week. He casts a couple prayers. I think maybe does a couple more wounds to Skreech. And we'll go into movement. So into movement, he ends up running this dog down here. With Khorne murder lusts and stuff like that, just having little units in your way to potentially tie you up is great. So he's just scooting down to get in my face. The Claws of Khorne end up staying in place. This guy was just up closer. Skarbrand and the Godsworn Hunt both end up moving up this way. Skarbrand scoots up, staying outside of 3 of these guys. And Skarbrand, he can charge 3d6, so like, looking at this, like, I'm feeling good in my heart, but Skarbrand's definitely coming in no matter what. The Unfettered Fury ends up swinging up this way, gonna make a play on Skreech. And this Bloodmaster hops out of the altar over this way. Then his Blood Reavers, they just run up this way, trying to make a play onto this objective for later. From there we go into shooting. Skarbrand shoots into the PCBs and kills 1, just for fun. And then the Bloodthirster shoots into Skreech and does another damage to him. Then we go into the charges. The Bloodthirster charges in over here into Skreech. Next up, Skarbrand charges, and he's 3d6, and he ends up rolling like a 17 to charge, which ends up putting him all the way back here down into the Clan Rats. And then that's okay, because I've got the help hit on the objective, so even if he kills all the Clan Rats, I'm still going to hold the objective and feel good. He ended up needing like an 8-inch or 9-inch charge for these guys to get in, and he ends up hitting that one too. So actually going to give him some more bodies on. End of charge phase, we go to Monstrous Rampages. He ends up roaring Skreech. So Skreech is in his -1 to hit stance. He's finest houred. His sub-faction gives him +1 to hit heroes. So he's going to be on a base 3. -1 for me goes to 4, but then back to 3s. So instead of breaking the altar this time, I go for the roar on this one to keep him on 3s instead of 2s. But I fail the roar. We go into combat. Bloodthirster's going to fight here first, so Skreech doesn't kill him. And he ends up killing Skreech. He's got the artifact to turn off wards. So while the Verminlords can be like somewhat tanky with the 5-up ward, once you strip that away from them, like even with the -1 to hit and all that kind of stuff, like they're just going to fold. So Skreech is dead, but he got Death Frenzy on him, so he fights when he dies. I've put everything back into this Bloodthirster. Since it's -1 to hit, it's harder to kill than you want it to be. So just putting in some chip damage where these PCBs can maybe come up, hit him, and clear him next turn. So we end up doing 5 or 6 to that Bloodthirster. Next up, I fight with the drill, and the thinking there was he can spike. He does D6 attacks, 3s, 3s, Rend 2, 2. And so he could kill all these little guys on him, but didn't roll it. I think we end up killing 2. Next up is Skarbrand. He fights, stays outside of 3 of the Hell Pit, and he's not pissed off yet. He gets supercharged if he doesn't fight, so this is too early for that. So he's just throwing regular attacks. And of the 20 clan rats, he ends up killing like 12 of them, which is awesome for me. I fight back with the clan rats into Skarbrand and do maybe 1 damage. And that ends up being his turn. At the end of Battle Shock, a couple clan rats come back to life. And all things considered, an excellent round for me. He doesn't control either objective. He doesn't score any bonus points for being on the objectives. So he's just going to score his battle tactic and then 1 extra bonus point for killing a wizard because he killed Skreech during his turn. So 6-3, big lead right out the gate. His grand strategy is slaughter of sorcery, so he has to kill all of my wizards. And with the little foot hero ones, I'm normally pretty good at denying that. So being up 3, knowing I've got a good chance to deny his grand strat, right now we're feeling good. We go into priority though. As always, like the turn 2 priority, I don't want him to double turn me, but we roll it and he double turns me. So we'll jump into Khorne, top of 2. Then I forgot to mention as well, these Bloodletters and Magor's Fiends, they clap these 2 guys, so that's what scored him his battle tactic. And the Godsword Hunt also piled in and killed this drill. So then we're top of 2 Khorne, and his battle tactic this round is led into the Maelstrom. He's going to charge a hero and a battle line, which is going to be pretty easy for him to do. He starts out with a prayer. I Finest Hour the Warbringer, just knowing that, like, hey, this is probably coming for me. But he does a prayer to pull me closer to him. So boom, the Warbringer gets brought up about like so. And through pulling me, he puts me within 3 of this Fleshhound that he moved down here so that I won't be able to redeploy. Like, boom, the Warbringer is there. He's coming for him. At the end of the hero phase, he ends up frenzying over here and kills all of the clan rats, which these guys were positioned a little bit over this way. I think the Grey Seer was over this side. But he kills all these clan rats, which is going to turn into something big for him. And then we go into the movement phase. First up, he moves Skarbrand down over here. And just staying outside of 3 of the Hell Pit, he's trying to send him over here into the Warbringer. This guy comes over, does the same thing, getting ready. The Hunt over here, they can't kill the Hell Pit, so they just push down, get near him. These guys do a regular move to get onto the objective. He has to have a battle line charge, so like these are the guys. The rest of the little foot heroes come down as well. Bloodletters move over, and as does the Bloodmaster. The claws he leaves back there, just in case we ever change the objectives, he's got something back there. The Bloodletters, they ended up running up this way. They got way up onto the objective. Skarbrand shoots at my Grey Seer, trying to kill him. Ends up doing 2 wounds to him. Bloodthirster ends up doing a couple wounds to the Warbringer as well. Go into the charge phase. Bloodthirster charges down. Skarbrand comes over as well to help. Little foot heroes also make their charges in. And these Blood Reavers down here also make their charge. Alright, then end of the charge phase. So end of charge phase, Monstrous Rampage. He ends up roaring the Warbringer, so I can't all-out defense. And he ends up fighting with the Bloodthirster first. And this was a big mistake. We talked about it after the game, and like, he shouldn't have done that. He should have just fought with Skarbrand. He does more damage. Being next to the Warbringer, he turns off the wards anyways, so all Skarbrand's attacks would have just killed him. But he fights with the Bloodthirster this time and doesn't kill the Warbringer. I stay alive, which is huge for me. That means I get to fight next. I'm going to activate the Warbringer, and I've got a choice. I could try and go into Skarbrand and kill him, but then these little foot heroes are going to kill me. I've got 1 or 2 wounds left. And so then I would get to fight on death and swing again. But since this Bloodthirster is already hurt, I'm going to try and kill him first, which will negate his -1 to a hit aura. And then the second time I fight, I'm going to get extra attacks for fighting again by somebody who hasn't fought when I fight on death, and levy a ton of attacks into Skarbrand. Without the -1 to hit, I should be able to clear both of them. So I fight into the Bloodthirster, and we kill him. Next up, Skarbrand fights, kills the Warbringer. But again, I've got fight on death. And my command trait, Devious Adversary, it gives me +2 to attacks when I fight by somebody who hasn't fought if they're within 3 of me. So these little foot heroes haven't fought. And so I already got +2 attacks before. I'm getting an additional +2 attacks, so we're doing 10 attacks with the glaive. We're doing 6 attacks with the spike fist. Skarbrand should die, but he doesn't. And I die. I end up leaving Skarbrand, I think, on like 4 wounds left. We get into a tussle over here with these guys, and they kill some clan rats. I pile in, get some more bodies on. It doesn't really matter. And they kill a few. I kill a few. But the cool part about this turn is I still left these objectives active. I've got 7 bodies onto his 6. I've got way more bodies on over here. And so he doesn't take either objective. He's only going to score his battle tactic plus another wizard kill for 3 this turn. So like, I've got some bonus points coming my way. If I can get the help hit over here into Skarbrand, that's good. If I get these PCBs over to Skarbrand, that's good. That's our plan. That's what we're going for. We go into the bottom of 2. For my battle tactic, I end up choosing Flee, Flee. I need to retreat a battle line and a hero. I've got this guy who can charge in and then retreat out. This guy, same idea. I've got these clan rats already in combat, so should be a pretty easy tactic to score. We cast some spells, do some prayers. Nothing important happens. I don't get like a big bubonic plague or anything like that. So we'll just jump straight into movement. But before I go into movement, at the end of the hero phase, he gets to Murderlust. And he does so with 2 units. He ends up sending these blood letters down here. They roll a big one and get within 3 of the Hell Pit. And what that's going to do is make it to where Hell Pit now cannot charge Skarbrand and kill him, which sucks. Then he also Murderless Scar down here, and gets a big enough one to where he can get within 3 of these Plague Sensor Bears, to where the Plague Sensor Bears are also not going to be able to charge Skarbrand this turn, so he's going to live. We go into movement. I end up moving this Grey Seer up here. Move this guy over here into charge range. We retreat out the clan rats for our battle tactic. We gotta get outside of 3. So these guys all kind of scoot down. This Plague Priest just runs down here. I've got to keep my heroes alive for my Grand Strat, so just shimmying around. This Plague Priest was over on this side. He didn't get trapped here because this was important for my battle tactic. I moved this Plague Priest over here. It's important, the clan rats, when they have a banner, they can retreat and charge. So we're setting them up over here. I'm going to charge this guy in as well to help score the battle tactic, just in case something crazy happens. So that's our movement phase. We go to charges. Can't do the Hell Pit because he's already in combat. Charge the Grey Seer in just to have 1 hero. I charge these clan rats right back in. Then the Plague Priest also makes a charge over here. And then we go to the combat phase. And here's where I made a mistake. For my battle tactic, I need to retreat a hero out. So my very first activation could have been to retreat this guy out or retreat my Grey Seer out. But just eyeballing it, to me, it looked like this guy, he's going to live. He's going to be -1 to hit from the clan rats, -1 to wound for his War Scroll ability. Blood Reavers aren't going to kill him. So I wanted to attack with the Hell Pit, clear these guys out to make sure this guy stays safe since he's a wizard for my Slaughter of Sorcery denial. And then eyeballing it, this guy can pile in, but like they have to stay. This guy has to stay on the clan rats. I didn't think that he had enough room to wrap me all the way. And that's something where in those situations, you just have to measure it before, like eyeballing it. I shouldn't have done that. So what ends up happening is I fight with the Hell Pit first, pile in, and clear both these units to keep my wizard safe. And then he does the pile in, and even himself, when he's looking at it, is like, oh, I'm not going to be able to wrap him, so like, I'll just measure it out and pile in this way, and then he piled in this way and brought a guy down, and it ended up being to where, like, within a millimeter or something along those lines, he ended up having this guy still in coherency and also ends up trapping my guys, the short part of it. But I also looked at the measurements. He was right. Like, this was true. I should have measured it out beforehand, and I didn't. And now I paid the price. I'm going to fail my battle tactic. And so I fight with the clan rats. If maybe I get lucky and can kill enough of these, I can still score my tactic, but I don't. I kill like 2. He pulls from over here and fail my battle tactic there, which is a bummer. Then I also forgot to mention we piled in the Plague Sensor Bears over here and killed Scar. So then we just go to scoring. I still hold the objective over here, so I get 1, 2, 3, 4, but no battle tactic, which is a bummer. But we go into priority roll. This is a big win. If I can get it, we can go over here, kill Skarbrand with the PCBs or the Hell Pit. But we roll priority, and I don't get it. So we're going into Khorne, top of 3. All right, for Khorne, I forget which battle tactic he chose, but we'll kind of speed things up. The general gist of it is that Skarbrand ends up charging over here and waxes all these PCBs. These guys just scoot down towards the objective. These two guys scoot over here towards clan rats. Charge in. And between all these guys, they end up killing a few clan rats. And he ends up killing the Plague Priest. Then the Claws of Khorne, they went over this way running, just try and get in the way of the Hell Pit. All right, and for this one, I had activated these two objectives, thinking that the Hell Pit was going to come back over here, kill Skarbrand, and take this one. So he ends up scoring 1, 2, 4 for the battle tactic, so 4 points. And we go into the bottom of 3 for Skaven. In my mind, I've got a play here where I'm going to try to Skitterleap over this Seer onto that back objective to score a bonus point. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to gnaw-hole this guy over here, score another bonus point over here, get a big lead, feel great. But we go to cast spells. I go to cast Skitterleap. Miscast. How many wounds do I take? 5. He's dead. So now that the Seer's dead, I failed my grand strategy. I need to make sure he fails his. So my plan this turn, I'm going to move this Seer over here, shoot him that way to try and keep him safe. Clan rats just retreat out. This guy runs over this way towards this gnaw-hole. And the Hell Pit scoots up this way. End of movement, I teleport this Plague Priest all the way up here. Teleport the Seer all the way over to this gnaw-hole. And then we go for charges. The Hell Pit charges in. Then piles in. Fights in combat and kills the Claws of Khorne. And that's the turn. Invaders was my battle tactic, so I've got the 3 outside of the zone. So battle tactic, holding 1 objective, so I score 3 points. We go into another priority roll. And Khorne wins it again. So Skarbrand, his tactic is to kill 8 models. I conveniently have 8 clan rat models here for him to kill. And long story short, Skarbrand just comes over here, crushes those guys. These guys start running over this way, trying to get towards the Seer, because he still has to kill him. He runs this hound all the way up here. It makes it to where if I leave this objective now to do anything else, he's going to be able to take that objective away from me, which is just a great play. And then these guys, they had murder lusted in the hero phase, and then he auto-ran them all the way back here to take the objective away from me in his turn, which again, just an excellent move. And we go to scoring. He got his tactic. He holds 1, 2, so he's going to score 4 points for the round. My turn, I'm out of tactics. The only one that was really viable for me to do at this point was Reprisal, and that means I needed to kill Skarbrand with the Hell Pit. And all I can do is move. And so the Hell Pit, I ended up rolling box cars for his movement. So 12, boom, we're scooting down. There's actually a chance. And then the Seer, I just run him. We're just trying to run away from these guys, try and stay safe. Plague Priest, I go over here, just put him on the objective this way. And this Seer, I could have gnaw-holed down here to potentially score a bonus point. But again, if this doesn't pan out, then I'm in the danger zone and I'm going to fail my grand strat. So scoring 1 bonus point would be nice, but denying 3 points would be even better. So roll the charge, hit it, make it into Skarbrand. And Skarbrand is important. He does not have bronze flesh. He has already popped Finest Hour before. He does not have any command points. So this is just a raw, full damage Hell Pit coming into Skarbrand. I Titanic Duel, so I'm going to be 2s and 3s on 12 different attacks. And we swing them all into Skarbrand. And the first attack profile does well. He's got 3 wounds left. The second attack profile are 3 damage each for the attacks. And I get 3 of them through. So he has to roll 3 5-ups in order to survive. He rolls all 3. 2 of them are 6s. 1 of them bounces out of the dice tray. So now we've got like this big dramatic moment where we both know like this could be it. And he picks the dice up, rolls it in the dice tray, 666, and Skarbrand lives. Which means that Skarbrand then fights back, kills the Hell Pit. But the good news is the Hell Pit, when he dies, he can stay alive or die and do D3 mortal wounds or do nothing. I got the D3 mortal wounds. I did 3 mortal wounds to Skarbrand with that, which kills Skarbrand. I still score my tactic for 2 points. So, big swings both ways. Both of us are excited. It was a very fun moment. we go into the final battle round. We roll priority. I end up getting my first priority roll. It feels great. But the state of the board, there's not a lot that I can really do. The best move I have, I can run to that gnaw hole, run to that gnaw hole, pop both of them over here, which would take the objective from this guy. I would score 1-2 points, but no battle tactic. And then I would put myself in risk of potentially, like, that guy could kill my wizard. But if I can get that, I can make it to where the game is still close. Like, maybe I win by 1, or maybe it ends up in a tie. So that's my plan, thinking of it. We go to the hero phase. I cast some spells, whatever. He does a Brass Meteor is at the end of the hero phase for one of their abilities. They get to roll 8 dice, and every 5-up is a mortal wound. And he rolls 8 dice, and all 8 of them are 5-ups. Does 8 mortal wounds to my Seer, killing him, which also gives him his grand strategy that all of the wizards are dead. And I still, like, move over here, not hold down, try and hit a charge. I don't. And that ends up being the game. Khorne takes it down. Yeah, so that's the game. The final score ended up being 21-14. And that sounds bad, but, like, the game was very close. So I scored 0 points turn 5. And just a very fun game. Lots of big swings that could have gone either way. And it just didn't go my way this time. My opponent, he ended up getting 3rd place overall in the tournament. So if you're going to lose to somebody, that's a great one to lose to. So again, even though I lost, that was just a great game of Warhammer. We had big swings going both ways. Both of us had an opportunity to win. And for a game of Warhammer, that's all you can ask for. Then we're moving on to round 2. We match into Cruel Boys with a whole bunch of shooting. So you want to subscribe and make sure you're ready when that one drops. And if you guys ever need models, check us out at warpfireminis.com. Thank you.